The officer tightened the cuffs around the elderly black woman's wrists while her wheelchair sat abandoned beside the pharmacy counter. Her prescription bag lay on the floor, her son's number glowing unanswered on her cracked phone. Why did no one stop him? Why did the manager whisper that it would be easier if the old woman just apologized? And why did this quiet grandmother keep saying only one sentence? "Call my son before you do this." The crowd thought she was helpless. The officer thought she was alone. But before sunset, one badge would turn the entire town silent. The pharmacy doors sighed open at 4:17 p.m., letting in wet autumn air. Evelyn Carter's wheelchair sat crooked beside the prescription counter, one brake locked. "Ma'am, I'm asking one more time," Officer Bradley Hayes said. "Step away from the counter." Evelyn kept both hands folded in her lap. Her cardigan sleeve had slipped down, showing the bracelet pressed into her wrist. "I cannot stand without assistance," she said. A woman near the vitamins shifted her basket. A boy stopped chewing gum. Behind the register, Linda Morrow held the store phone against her chest. Hayes glanced at the chair. "Then cooperate from where you are." "I have been cooperating." "That's not what the manager says." Evelyn turned toward Linda. "My prescription was approved yesterday." Linda swallowed. "Mrs. Carter, the system rejected it." "The system is wrong." A low sound moved through the line. Evelyn heard it. Her fingers closed around the worn seam of her handbag. Hayes stepped closer. "You don't get to decide that in the middle of a business. I'm asking you to check." "Outside." "My chair is locked." "Unlock it." "My hands shake when I reach that far." Officer Nina Collins looked down at the wheel lock. She began to move, then stopped when Hayes raised two fingers. "Don't," he said. Evelyn's cracked phone lay face up beside a dropped insurance paper. The screen glowed between her shoe and the prescription bag. A missed call banner faded. Beneath it was a contact photo, a black man in a dark suit. The name read, Marcus. "Officer," Evelyn said, "please hand me my phone. We're past phone calls." "No, sir, we are not." The doors opened again. Rain tapped against the glass. A customer saw the scene and backed into the card rack. Linda whispered, "Maybe we should let her call." Hayes turned his head. "You called us because she refused to leave." "I called because the line was getting upset." "The line is fine." No one agreed. No one disagreed. Evelyn bent forward. The effort moved through her shoulders before her fingertips stopped an inch from the phone. "Do not reach for anything," Hayes said. "It is my phone. Hands where I can see them. They are where you can see them." His radio cracked with static, then dissolved into the ceiling buzz. Evelyn sat back carefully. A man in a gray work jacket lifted his own phone. Linda mouthed, "Please don't." His hand lowered. Hayes picked up Evelyn's phone by the edges. Marcus's name appeared again. "Who is Marcus?" he asked. "My son." "Is he coming here to make this worse?" "He will ask you the same thing I am asking." "What's that?" Evelyn lifted her eyes to him. The store seemed to shrink. Cold tiles, disinfectant, rain dragging silver lines down the windows. "Check before you judge." For a second, only the cooler fan clicked near the back wall. Hayes slipped the phone into his palm. "Ma'am, you're detained for disorderly conduct and refusing a lawful order." Nina's lips parted. "Bradley?" "Not now." Evelyn's fingers tightened on the handbag seam, then relaxed. "Please call my son," Evelyn said. Hayes reached for the cuffs on his belt. The metal clicked once, small and bright, and every face turned toward the empty wheelchair beside the counter. At 6:45 a.m., the kitchen window was still gray, and the kettle clicked twice before Evelyn Carter heard it. She sat at the small table in her blue housecoat, warming her fingers while the apartment pipes knocked behind the wall. "Come on now," she murmured. "Don't start arguing before breakfast." Steam rose with the smell of mint tea. On the table lay a pill organizer, a pharmacy slip, and a salt shaker shaped like a little white house. Evelyn moved each item into a line as neat as books. The photograph beside the sugar bowl had tilted during the night. "Oh, Marcus," she said softly. In the frame, her son stood in a dark suit outside a stone building. The edges had faded brown. Evelyn touched the corner with one finger. Her phone buzzed. "You awake?" Ruth Benson asked. "At my age, sleeping late is a rumor. You going to Maple Street today?" "If Mr. Green has my prescription ready, yes." "Let me drive you." "You have therapy at 9. "I can move it." "You will not. Your knee complains louder than you do." "I don't like you going alone when that manager is on duty." Evelyn looked toward the window. Rain tapped the fire escape. "Linda is tired. Tired people forget their manners." "Some forget them on purpose." Evelyn turned the pharmacy slip over. Yesterday's date. Her name. The dosage. Correct. "I'll call Marcus if anything looks wrong," she said. "Will you really?" "He has enough doors knocking on him. He's your son. And I am his mother." After the call, Evelyn set the phone beside the photograph and pushed her wheelchair back from the table. The floor was cold through her slippers. She dressed slowly. Cream blouse, brown cardigan, dark skirt over the brace on her leg. The zipper caught halfway. She breathed through her nose and waited until the tremor passed. From the bedroom dresser, she took a sealed envelope marked MC, emergency copies. The envelope rested under her palm. She almost put it in her handbag, then glanced at the slip. "No," she whispered. "It is a pharmacy, not a courtroom." She returned the envelope to the drawer and chose only her insurance card, identification, and a $10 bill folded around a coupon. At 8:12, Ruth knocked once and came in without waiting, silver hair pinned high. "I brought biscuits," Ruth said, "and my disapproval." "Set both by the stove." Ruth's eyes went to the photograph. "He called last night?" "Sent a message. Flight delayed. Briefing today." "What kind?" "The kind mothers don't ask about." Evelyn slipped the pharmacy paper into her handbag. The leather was soft at the handle, worn dark where her fingers always closed. "I know people see the chair first," she said. "Then the gray hair. Then the skin. Somewhere after that, if they have time, they see me." Ruth's face tightened, but Evelyn lifted a hand. "So I bring my papers. I speak clearly. I do not give strangers the satisfaction of making me small." Outside, the rain thinned to mist. Evelyn turned the photograph upright one more time. Ruth placed the handbag across Evelyn's lap. "Keep your phone charged." Evelyn checked the screen. 81%. "Enough for one ordinary errand," she said. By the door, she paused, listening to the elevator cables groan in the hall. At 9:38 a.m., Evelyn's wheels bumped against the rubber mat inside Maple Street Pharmacy and stopped as if the floor had taken hold of her. "Oh, for heaven's sake," she whispered. The doors closed with a wet hush. Warm air smelled of cough syrup, floor cleaner, and paper bags. Rain slid down the glass behind her. Fluorescent lights hummed over the vitamins. A young cashier with copper braids looked up. Her name tag read Megan. "Good morning," Evelyn said. Megan gave a quick smile. "Prescription pickup is straight ahead." "I remember." A man shifted his basket so she could pass. Evelyn guided the chair with one hand on the rim, one keeping her handbag from slipping. At the counter, Pharmacist Elliot Green leaned over a computer, reading through narrow glasses. "Mrs. Carter," he said, "I was hoping you'd come before lunch. That sounds either helpful or expensive. Helpful, I hope. Let me pull it up." Linda Morrow came out of the stockroom with a clipboard. Her blonde hair was twisted tight, a pencil behind one ear. She looked at the line behind Evelyn, then at the wheelchair. "Elliot, we're backed up." "I know. I'm checking an approval." Evelyn placed her pharmacy slip on the counter. "Mr. Green said yesterday it was approved." "It was," Elliot said. He typed, paused, typed again. The printer clicked and fell silent. Linda stepped closer. "Problem? System shows a rejection." Evelyn looked at the reflection in Elliot's glasses. "That cannot be right. I'm not saying it is." The woman behind Evelyn sighed. A child's sneaker squeaked on the tile. Linda took the slip. "Mrs. Carter, this says yesterday." "Yes. Approvals can change. Not overnight without notice." Linda's smile was thin and public. Sometimes patients misunderstand what they're told. Evelyn's hand settled on the armrest. "I taught 8th graders for 31 years. I know the difference between approved and misunderstood." Megan looked down. Elliot cleared his throat. "Linda, it may be the insurance update. We had 3 false denials this morning." "Then fix it after the line is moving." "My medication is not a loaf of bread," Evelyn said. The man with the basket stopped moving. Linda leaned in. "We cannot delay everyone every time a customer disagrees with a screen. I am asking a person to check it." Elliot frowned. "There's an authorization note. It's not loading." "Because the account is rejected," Linda said. "Because the note is not loading." The line had grown to 6. The woman who had sighed glanced at Evelyn. Evelyn brought out her ID and insurance card. She laid them side by side. "Here, please verify them." Linda did not touch them. "That won't change the system." "It may change how you speak to me." For the first time, Megan lifted her face. Elliot's fingers hovered over the keyboard. "I can call the provider." "How long?" Linda asked. 10 minutes, maybe less." "We don't have 10 minutes." Evelyn looked past Linda to the small white bag waiting in a bin with her last name printed on it. "That bag is mine," she said. "It is not yours until it clears." "Then I will wait while Mr. Green checks." The pencil behind Linda's ear slipped and clicked against the floor. No one bent to pick it up. The pencil lay between Evelyn's front wheel and Linda Morrow's shoe, bright yellow against the gray tile. Megan started around the register. "I can get that." "I've got it," Linda said. She clipped it to her board. A bottle rattled in someone's basket. From the back aisle came the beep of a sensor resetting. Elliot Green turned his monitor away. "Mrs. Carter, I'm seeing your doctor's office, authorization number, and yesterday's approval. The rejection code doesn't match the file." "So it is an error," Evelyn said. "It appears to be." "Appears is not enough," Linda said. "We are asking you to check." "This store has procedures." "So did my classroom." "This is not a classroom." "No. When a child brought the right paper, I read it before treating him as wrong." Evelyn placed her documents in a row. ID, insurance card, pharmacy slip, clinic note. The slick counter made the note slide toward the edge. Megan reached for the insurance card. Linda stopped her with a look. "I was just going to scan it," Megan said. "Then don't." Linda picked up the clinic note. Evelyn watched the paper bend. "Please be careful with that." "It's a copy." "It is still mine." Linda flipped it over. "This doesn't prove the account is active. It proves the prescription was approved. It proves someone printed something." Elliot's glasses slipped. Linda. What? We get fake paperwork. One breath moved through the line. Evelyn folded her hands on her lap. Are you accusing me of bringing false medical papers? I'm saying we protect the pharmacy. From me? That is not what I said. It is what you placed on the counter. Megan whispered. The number matches. Linda turned. Megan, ring up the front. There's nobody at the front. Then straighten something. Elliot took the note. I'm calling the provider. You're tying up the line. I'll use my cell. He walked toward the immunization room. Linda faced Evelyn. You could come back this afternoon. I arranged my ride for this morning. We can't solve every transportation issue. Evelyn looked at the white bag in the bin. Carter was written on it. My doctor told me not to miss a dose. I am not your doctor. No, you are standing between me and what my doctor ordered. Linda set the clinic note down, but not flat. It slid off the counter and drifted to the floor beside the wheel. Evelyn leaned forward, the brace under her skirt pressed into her shin. I'll get it, she said. Megan moved. Mrs. Carter, wait. Evelyn brushed the edge, pushing it under the chair. Linda exhaled. Now people are blocking the line. A man near the cold medicine lifted his head. Ma'am, she's just picking up her paper. Linda gave him her public smile. Sir, let us handle operations. Elliot returned, phone to his ear. Hold music leaked into the space. I saw the number, Megan said. It matched. Linda reached for the store phone. Evelyn saw the motion. Who are you calling? Assistance. For a paper on the floor? For a customer refusing reasonable instruction. Evelyn took out her cracked phone and held it against her chest. Then I need to call my son. Linda's fingers paused over the keypad while the rejected documents lay at Evelyn's feet. Linda's finger stayed above the store phone keypad, not pressing, not leaving. Behind her, the hold music from Elliot's cell chirped a bright little tune. Mrs. Carter, Linda said, you don't need to involve anyone else. Evelyn held her cracked phone against her cardigan. You are involving police. For assistance. Then I am involving my son. A woman in a raincoat shifted her purse. Megan stood near the register, hands closed around nothing. Linda lowered her voice. If your son comes here angry, that will not help you. He does not come angry. Then why call him? Because he listens before deciding. Evelyn unlocked her phone. The screen spiderwebbed across Marcus's name. Her thumb hovered over his contact photo. Dark suit, straight shoulders, serious face. Please, give me 1 minute, she said. Linda pressed 3 numbers. Megan's breath caught. Ms. Morrow, maybe wait for Mr. Green. Count the drawer. There's nobody at the front. Then find something to count. Evelyn touched Marcus's number. The call began to pulse. Linda spoke into the store phone. This is Maple Street Pharmacy. We have a customer refusing to leave the prescription counter. First ring. No, Evelyn whispered. Pick up, baby. Second ring. Linda turned her back. Elderly female, wheelchair. She's agitated and blocking service. I am seated, Evelyn said. Please don't interrupt. Third ring. A man in a gray work jacket lifted his phone, angled it toward the counter, then lowered it when Linda's eyes cut across the aisle. Fourth ring. The call rolled to voicemail. Marcus, it's Mama, Evelyn said quickly. I'm at the pharmacy. There is a mistake with my medicine, and they are calling. Linda reached over the counter. Ma'am, do not record staff. I am leaving a message. Give me the phone. No. Evelyn pulled back too quickly. The chair bumped the counter. Her insurance card slid off and tapped against the tile. Elliot hurried back. Provider says the authorization is valid. They're faxing confirmation now. Linda kept the store phone to her ear. Officers are already on the way. Then tell them it's resolved, Elliot said. It isn't resolved. She refused to leave. Evelyn ended the voicemail and set the phone in her lap. Her fingers would not line up with the case. Mrs. Carter, Elliot said, I can process it manually when the fax comes. Thank you. Linda stared at him. You are not overriding a rejected account without my approval. The doctor confirmed it. By phone. That is how phones work. The automatic doors opened. Not police yet. Just another customer shaking rain from a black umbrella. Cold air swept along the floor and lifted Evelyn's fallen clinic note. Jonah Miller stepped out from the cold medicine aisle. He was 33, broad-shouldered, with drywall dust on one sleeve. Ma'am, he said to Linda, I can wait. We can all wait. No one else spoke. Linda's cheeks colored. Sir, please do not insert yourself into store policy. I'm saying she asked for one phone call. Evelyn turned her chair a few inches. Thank you. Jonah nodded, but when the first police cruiser lights flashed blue across the wet front window, his phone hand dropped to his side again. Blue light washed over the pharmacy window and broke into strips across the wet floor. The automatic doors opened, and Officer Bradley Hayes stepped inside as if the room had been waiting for him. He was tall, broad through the shoulders, rain shining on his cap. Officer Nina Collins followed, younger and quieter, wiping her boots twice on the mat. She noticed the wheelchair first. Who called? Hayes asked. Linda raised her hand. I did. I'm the manager. Hayes looked past her to Evelyn. Not at the papers on the floor. Not at the pharmacy bag in the bin. At Evelyn. What seems to be the problem? She's refusing to leave the counter, Linda said. We explained the prescription can't be released. It can, Elliot said. The provider confirmed. Hayes lifted a palm. One at a time. Evelyn's phone lay in her lap. Marcus's voicemail screen had gone dark. Officer, she said, there was a system error. Hayes turned to Linda. Is that true? The system rejected the account. She became difficult. Megan stood behind the register. She didn't. Megan, Linda said. Jonah shifted beside cough drops, phone half hidden against his thigh. Hayes walked to the counter. His badge flashed in the curved medicine display. Ma'am, can you move your chair away? I am waiting for my medication. That wasn't my question. I cannot move until the paper under my wheel is picked up. Nina glanced down. The clinic note was trapped beside the front caster. I can get that, she said. Hayes did not look at her. Unlock your chair and back up. My right hand shakes when I reach for the brake. Then use your left. My left side is weaker. The line had thinned, but no one had left. Elliot stepped forward. Officer, we have a valid authorization coming by fax. This is a pharmacy issue. Hayes faced him. Are you asking me to disregard the manager? I'm asking you to hear the whole sentence. Sir, go back behind the counter. Elliot stayed where he was. Nina bent toward the paper. Hayes's voice cut across the aisle. Collins. She straightened. Rainwater on the officers' jackets sharpened the syrup smell from aisle 3. My documents are there, Evelyn said. My identification is on the counter. My doctor's office is answering. Hayes's jaw moved. What I'm asking now is simple. Leave. Without the medication? You can come back later. My doctor told me not to miss the dose. Then you should have handled it before it became a disturbance. Even Linda blinked. Evelyn rested her cracked phone on the armrest. Please call my son. Hayes looked at the screen. Your son doesn't decide store policy. No, but he knows where the extra copies are. Convenient. Nina's eyes moved from Evelyn to Hayes. Bradley, maybe we let her make the call while they check the facts. Hayes smiled without warmth. And turn this into a family meeting? Jonah lifted his phone. Hayes turned. Put it away. Jonah's thumb hesitated. Evelyn's phone vibrated once in her lap. A missed call banner appeared. Marcus Carter. Her hand moved toward the answer button. Hayes stepped closer. Do not make this harder than it needs to be. Behind the counter, the fax machine began to ring. The fax machine rang while Marcus Carter's name glowed on Evelyn's phone. Her thumb hovered over the green button as the vibration traveled through the armrest. Ma'am, Hayes said, leave it. It is my son calling. And I am telling you not to touch it. The fax rang again. The phone rang again. Elliot reached for the tray. That should be confirmation. Linda blocked him with her clipboard. Not while officers are handling this. He asked for facts, Elliot said. I asked for order, Hayes said. Nina glanced at the paper trapped under Evelyn's wheel. Bradley, the document is right there. So pick it up after she moves. She says she can't. She says a lot. Megan's hand pinched her name tag. Jonah Miller's phone hung by his thigh. Evelyn's call stopped. The screen dimmed. My doctor's paper is under the wheel, she said. My identification is on the counter. The confirmation is coming out of your machine. Hayes leaned toward her. Rain clung to his shoulders. And my instruction is in front of you. To go without medicine. To stop obstructing business. Evelyn turned toward the line. An older man stared at the floor. A mother pulled her daughter closer. No one spoke. She reached for the brake. Her fingers trembled before they found the lever. The first pull failed. Nina took one step. Let me help her. No, Hayes said. Evelyn tried again. The chair jerked half an inch. The clinic note slid deeper under the caster. A corner tore with a dry whisper. That paper matters, Evelyn said. Then you should have kept track of it. Linda inhaled, but said nothing. Elliot lifted the fax page. Officer, this confirms the prescription. Approved, active, medically necessary. Hayes did not take it. Is the account cleared in your register? It will be when I process it manually. Has the manager approved that? Elliot looked at Linda. The store seemed to wait. I can't authorize a release during a police incident, she said. Evelyn looked at the pharmacy bag with Carter in black marker. Mrs. Carter, Megan whispered. I'm sorry. Hayes turned on her. Miss, stay out of it. Megan's face went pale, but her voice came again. The number matched. Linda snapped. Enough. Hayes moved to the side of the chair. Last chance. Back away from the counter. Evelyn's left hand pressed against the wheel rim. The metal was slick from rain. She pushed. The chair tilted against the mat, then stopped. I cannot clear the mat from this angle, she said. Then you are refusing. I am explaining. You are refusing? He took hold of the push handle. The movement turned every head. The little girl whispered, Mom. Nina's voice dropped. Bradley. Hayes pulled the chair backward. The wheel rolled over the clinic note. The paper crumpled under the tire. Evelyn's shoulders hit the backrest. She made no sound. Jonah raised his phone. This time, he did not lower it. Hayes stopped the chair 3 feet from the counter and pointed toward the doors. Outside. Evelyn looked at the crushed document, then at the fax confirmation in Elliot's hand. My medicine, she said. Later. My son. Later. The torn clinic note lay under the wheel like something the room had decided not to save. The torn clinic note clung to the wet wheel as Hayes pushed Evelyn backward from the counter. Outside, he said again. Evelyn set one hand on the rim. Please stop moving my chair. It's store property now. You refuse to move it. This chair belongs to me. Then control it. Nina Collins stepped between the chair and the greeting card rack. Bradley, we can slow down. Secure the area, Hayes said. There is no area to secure. Behind the counter, the fax machine spat out another page. Elliot held both sheets up. Officer Hayes, this is not a refusal. Her prescription is valid. Put the paperwork down. Megan came around the register. Sir, she wasn't shouting. She just wanted the call. Evelyn's phone vibrated in her lap again. Marcus Carter. The cracked screen flashed bright. May I answer? Evelyn asked. No. He will worry. He can worry later. Jonah Miller moved into the aisle, phone raised. Sir, put that away, Hayes said. I'm recording. You're interfering. A woman near the vitamins lowered her eyes. A girl held her mother's coat. No one walked out. No one stepped forward. Hayes reached for Evelyn's phone. Evelyn closed her fingers around it. Please don't take that. Then unlock the chair and leave. I cannot leave without my medicine. You're not getting the medicine. Elliot's voice sharpened. You have no medical authority to say that. Hayes turned so fast, the keys on his belt clicked. And you have no authority over me. Nina touched her mic. Bradley, the camera is on. Good. Evelyn looked at the camera clipped to his uniform. Then it will hear me. Please call my son. Hayes's face hardened. Hands where I can see them. They are in my lap. Hands out. Evelyn released the phone. It slid from her cardigan to the floor and struck the tile with a flat crack. Marcus's name kept glowing. Nina bent. I'll get it. Do not. Evelyn lifted her hand slowly, palms open. The pharmacy seemed suddenly colder. Hayes took the cuffs from his belt. Linda whispered, Officer, is that necessary? You called police. I didn't mean. You asked for assistance. Megan stayed frozen beside the counter. Elliot set the fax pages down. Don't make this worse, Hayes warned. I'm trying to make it true, Elliot said. Hayes guided Evelyn's wrists together in front of her, careful enough to look professional, firm enough that the metal closed with a clean click. Evelyn did not cry out. Please call my son, she said. The prescription bag with Carter written on it sat untouched in the bin. Hayes angled the chair toward the automatic doors. My papers, Evelyn said. Someone can bring them. My phone. Later. Jonah followed from a distance, recording. His hand shook. The video wobbled past Linda's white face, Megan's lowered head, Elliot holding the fax sheets like evidence no one wanted. At the threshold, the doors opened to rain and blue light. Hayes pushed Evelyn through first. Nina paused, picked up the cracked phone despite his order, and saw the missed call still pulsing. She read the name under her breath. Marcus Carter. Then she noticed the smaller line beneath the contact. One Evelyn had typed years ago and never changed. Federal Office. The holding room smelled of old coffee, floor wax, and rain trapped in uniforms. Evelyn sat on a metal bench at 5:06 p.m., a thin gray blanket around her shoulders. The cuffs were gone, but pale bracelet marks stayed on her skin. Her wheelchair stood near the wall, close enough to see, too far to reach. A paper cup of water trembled at the bench's edge each time footsteps passed. Mrs. Carter, Sergeant Paul Rainey said from behind the desk window. We're processing a conduct citation. Sit tight. I need to call my son. You already said that. And no one has let me. Rainey was 55, heavy around the eyes, with a ruler-straight mustache. He clicked through a form. Officer Hayes wrote that you refused instructions. Did he write that my prescription was approved? That's pharmacy business. Did he write that my chair was moved while I was sitting in it? Rainey's fingers stopped. Then they continued. Nina Collins stood near the doorway, Evelyn's cracked phone in one hand and the torn clinic note in the other. Her son called again on the ride over, Nina said. Property gets logged. Evelyn looked at the phone. Please, 30 seconds. Hayes came in from the hall. She can call after booking. There is no booking for a citation, Nina said. There is if she keeps obstructing. Evelyn lowered her eyes to the cup. The water carried a tiny reflection of the ceiling light, broken by vibration. I was a school librarian for 31 years, she said. I learned to ask who touched the book last, not who sounded most certain. Hayes gave a dry laugh. This isn't a library. No, libraries keep better records. Rainey slid a clipboard through the slot. Sign here. Evelyn did not take the pen. What does it say? That you refused to leave private property. Then it is missing the rest. You can contest it later. My medicine is not later. The hallway door opened. Linda Morrow stood there holding a pharmacy bag and an envelope, hair loose at one side. Hayes walked to her. You brought the medication? Mr. Green insisted it was ready. I brought the paperwork too. Leave it with property. Evelyn leaned forward. Mrs. Morrow, did the facts confirm it? Linda's mouth tightened. Answer her, Nina said. Yes, Linda said. It confirmed it. No one gasped, but Rainey's pen stopped scratching and the desk officer no longer pretended to type. Evelyn reached for the cup. Her fingers bumped it, and Nina caught it before it fell. Thank you. Nina set it farther from the edge. Hayes took the envelope. We still have a complaint. From whom? Evelyn asked. Linda looked down at her badge. From the store. From the store, Evelyn repeated. Across town, Marcus Carter stepped out of a black sedan. His phone showed 6 missed calls from his mother, 1 from Ruth Benson, and a shaky video from an unknown number. On the screen, his mother's empty wheelchair sat beside the pharmacy counter. He watched 3 seconds. Then he placed 1 call. This is Carter. Preserve everything at Maple Street Pharmacy and Riverton Precinct. Body camera, store camera, dispatch audio, all of it. Back in the station, Evelyn's phone vibrated on the property shelf, lighting the cracked glass. Marcus Carter did not move when the video ended. The sedan's engine idled beside the Federal Building, soft as a held breath. Rain dotted the windshield and blurred the streetlights into long yellow stains. On his phone, the final frame showed an empty wheelchair near a pharmacy counter and his mother's voice under the store noise. Please call my son. He played it again without sound. Agent Carter? Helen Brooks said from the back seat. Marcus looked up. Deputy Director Helen Brooks was 50, sharp-eyed, with silver threads at her temples and a folder on one knee. She had worked with him for 11 years and knew the difference between anger and stillness. My mother, he said. Helen leaned forward. Where? Maple Street Pharmacy, then Riverton Precinct. The driver glanced at him in the mirror. Marcus did not look back. His thumb opened the voicemail Evelyn had left. Static, a register beep, then her voice trying to stay polite. Marcus, it's Mama. I'm at the pharmacy. There is a mistake with my medicine, and they are calling. The message cut off. Helen's hand closed around the folder. Do you want me to contact local command? I want preservation notices first. That's not what I asked. Marcus watched water run down the glass. His fingers tightened around the phone until the cracked reflection trembled. If I go in as her son, they'll call it emotion, he said. If I go in as an agent, they'll call it procedure. And what are you right now? He put the phone face down on his knee. Both. So I need witnesses, records, and no shortcuts. Helen nodded. Names? Officer Bradley Hayes, Officer Nina Collins, Manager Linda Morrow, Pharmacist Elliot Green, unknown witness who sent the video. Dispatch audio? All calls from the pharmacy, body camera, car camera, holding room feed, property log, store surveillance before anyone remembers why it failed. Helen opened her tablet. I'll issue the hold. Marcus dialed Ruth Benson. She answered on the first ring. Marcus? I'm here. She didn't want to bother you. I know. They took her chair like luggage. His jaw shifted once. Is she hurt? She wouldn't tell me if she was. That's your mother. Where are you? Outside the precinct. They won't let me past the desk. Stay where the cameras can see you. Don't argue. I'm old, not decorative. Despite everything, Marcus closed his eyes. Please, Ruth. A notification appeared from Helen. Preservation request sent. The driver asked, Precinct? Marcus opened the witness video again. This time he watched Linda's mouth, Elliot's hands holding fax pages, Jonah's shaking phone. He watched Nina pick up the cracked phone at the door and look at the screen. He watched Hayes push the chair through rain-blue light. Yes, Marcus said. Riverton Precinct. Helen touched his shoulder. Carter, let Internal Affairs arrive with us. No. Marcus. He turned, rain dampening the collar of his dark suit. My mother has been asking for one phone call for an hour. I'm not waiting outside another door. At 5:41 p.m., the sedan pulled away from the curb. In Marcus's lap, the video restarted by accident, and Evelyn's voice filled the car again, quiet enough that everyone leaned toward it. The precinct lobby doors opened at 5:58 p.m., and the room changed before anyone said his name. Marcus Carter stepped in with rain on his dark suit. Helen Brooks entered beside him with a folder and tablet. Behind them came Captain Daniel Foster, 48, square-jawed, tie loosened as if pulled from dinner. Ruth Benson stood near the vending machine. Marcus? He crossed to her first. Where is she? Behind that door. They gave her water, not medicine. At the desk, Sergeant Rainey straightened so fast his chair squealed. Can I help you? Marcus laid one identification wallet against the glass. Special Agent Marcus Carter. I need to see Evelyn Carter, and I need all recordings connected to her detention preserved. Rainey looked from the badge to Marcus's face. You're her son? Yes. Hayes appeared from the hallway. This is a local matter. Helen opened her folder. Not once preservation has been requested and acknowledged. Captain Foster rubbed one hand over his mouth. Hayes, conference room. Collins, too. Nina Collins came from the property desk, holding Evelyn's phone in a plastic bag. Marcus saw the crack across the screen cut through his contact photo. Was she allowed a call? He asked. Nina answered before Hayes could. No. The word landed small and hard. The conference room smelled of dry markers and burnt coffee. Foster logged into the monitor. The first video showed Evelyn at the pharmacy counter with papers lined up. Elliot held a fax sheet. Linda stood near the register. Foster paused it. Where is the disturbance? Hayes leaned forward. Before that clip. Helen tapped her tablet. We have the previous 12 minutes. The video rolled back. Evelyn's voice came through thin speakers. Please verify them. Linda answered. That won't change the system. Marcus watched his mother's hands. Her ID, insurance card, and clinic note sat in a perfect row. The body camera footage started with Hayes entering. Unlock your chair and back up, Hayes said. My right hand shakes when I reach for the brake, Evelyn answered. On the video, Nina said, I can get that. Hayes's recorded voice cut in. Collins. Foster's jaw tightened. You stopped your partner from assisting a disabled citizen? She was obstructing, Hayes said. She was seated, Marcus said. Hayes turned. With respect, Agent, you're not objective. Marcus placed a preservation notice on the table. I'm not here to be objective about my mother. I'm here to make sure no one edits what happened to her. The room played the arrest again. Evelyn's phone fell. Please call my son. Nina swallowed. I told him the camera was on. Foster looked at Hayes. And you continued. I made a field decision. Helen slid a log across the table. The pharmacy call described an agitated customer. The footage shows a customer asking for verification. A knock interrupted them. Rainey opened the door. Captain, Mrs. Carter is asking if someone can return her photograph. Marcus stood. What photograph? Rainey held up a property envelope. Inside was the faded picture from Evelyn's wallet. Marcus in a dark suit, younger by 10 years, the corners worn almost white. For the first time, Hayes looked away from the screen. The envelope scraped as Marcus set it beside the monitor. That photograph stays with her, he said. Rainey cleared his throat. I'll return it. No. Evelyn's voice came from the doorway. I can take it myself. Every chair shifted. Evelyn sat in her wheelchair, gray blanket across her knees, the old photo on her lap. Marcus stepped toward her, then stopped when she lifted 2 fingers. Not yet, she said. First, the pharmacy. Linda stood behind her with a white prescription bag. Megan waited beside Linda, copper braids under a rain hood. Elliot carried the fax confirmation. Captain Foster looked at Hayes. Sit down. Hayes sat. At 6:32 p.m., Maple Street Pharmacy had closed early. The doors were locked, but lights still hummed over empty aisles, damp footprints, and disinfectant. Inspector Carla Vane, 44, in a navy coat, placed a recorder on the counter. I need what each person saw, Carla said. Not what you guessed. What you saw. Linda gripped her badge until it tilted. I saw a customer refuse to leave. Megan turned. You saw her ask for help. Megan? No. Megan's voice shook. I watched her give you ID. I watched the insurance number match. I watched you tell me to count a drawer already counted. Carla wrote without looking up. Elliot slid the fax sheet across the counter. Authorization active. Timestamp 4:21 p.m. I received verbal confirmation before officers removed her. Linda stared at the paper. The register still showed rejection. Because the update didn't load, Elliot said. Jonah Miller stepped from aisle 3, drywall dust on one sleeve. I have the full video. Linda's mouth opened. Nothing came out. He placed his phone on the counter. I stopped recording when she looked at me. He nodded toward Linda. Then I started again when the officer touched the chair. Carla pressed play. Evelyn's voice filled the empty pharmacy. Please give me 1 minute. Linda closed her eyes. On the screen, the cracked phone fell. The wheelchair rolled backward. Megan covered her mouth. Elliot held up fax pages like paper could stop a train. Carla paused it. Mrs. Morrow, did you tell dispatch Mrs. Carter was agitated? Yes. Was she? Linda looked through the glass doors where rain made the lot shine black. She was insistent. That is not the same word. No. Did she threaten anyone? No. Did she raise her voice? Linda rubbed the letters of her name. No. Megan whispered. She called you ma'am even after you called police. Back at the precinct, Evelyn listened without interrupting. Marcus stood behind her chair, not touching it. Hayes kept his eyes on the table. The room smelled of burnt coffee and wet wool. Carla's voice came through the speaker. Preliminary finding: store error, procedural failure, and inaccurate call description contributed to police escalation. Foster turned off the monitor. Evelyn reached for the pharmacy bag. Linda gave it to her with both hands. "I'm sorry," Linda said. Evelyn placed the bag beside the faded photograph. "Sorry should arrive before the sirens," she said. No one answered. Then Carla lifted another form. "There will be a public hearing," she said. "And Mrs. Carter, they'll ask whether you want to speak." At 10:03 a.m., the City Hall microphone sat too high for the council and too low for Evelyn Carter. She waited before the curved desk with the faded photograph beneath her hands. The room smelled of damp coats, floor polish, and weak coffee. Rain ticked from umbrellas near the door. Marcus stood behind her right shoulder. Evelyn looked at the microphone. "That one is talking to my knees." A few people laughed too quickly. Marcus bent, loosened the silver stem, and raised it to her mouth. Chairwoman Marissa Cole leaned forward. "Mrs. Carter, take all the time you need." Evelyn glanced at the timer. "It says 3 minutes. We can pause it." "No," Evelyn said. 3 minutes is enough when people listen." Behind the rail, Linda held a tissue. Megan sat beside Elliot Green. Jonah Miller kept his phone flat in his palm, not recording now. Nina Collins sat 2 rows behind Hayes, eyes on the floor. "I went to Maple Street Pharmacy for medicine," Evelyn said. "Not for attention. Not for argument. Not for a lesson in how small a person can be made to feel while everyone watches." The chamber settled. A computer made a mistake. A manager believed the computer faster than she believed my papers. An officer believed the manager faster than he believed his own eyes. And good people waited for someone else to become brave first. Hayes shifted. His badge caught the ceiling light, then disappeared under his folded arms. Councilman Reed leaned toward his microphone. "Mrs. Carter, did you understand the officer's order to leave?" Marcus's jaw tightened. Evelyn lifted one finger behind her. "I understood every word," she said. "I also understood my doctor's instruction not to miss the medication. Understanding an order does not make the order right." Marissa turned to Hayes. "Your report says Mrs. Carter was loud and disruptive." Hayes cleared his throat. "That was my assessment." Helen Brooks played the pharmacy audio. "Please call my son." The words seemed smaller in the large room. Marissa looked over her glasses. "That is the disruption?" "The scene had potential to escalate," Hayes said. Nina stood. "It escalated because we treated assistance like defiance. I saw the paper under the wheel. I heard the pharmacist say the authorization was valid. I should have stepped in." The timer beside Evelyn blinked red. Marissa reached over and turned it off. Elliot spoke next. "I should have refused to let medical facts become background noise." Megan wiped her cheek. "I saw the number match. I let Ms. Morrow stop me." Linda rose slowly. "I called police because I wanted the line moving. I told myself I was protecting the store." Evelyn looked at her. "And were you?" Linda shook her head. "No. I was protecting my job from a delay I didn't want to explain." Jonah stepped to the aisle. "I stopped recording when I felt watched, then started again too late." "No," Evelyn answered, "but it gave the truth a second witness." Marcus came to the microphone. "My mother asked for one phone call. She asked trained adults to read what was in front of them." He placed the torn clinic note on the table beside the faded photograph. Its crease line still showed the tire mark. Marissa closed her folder. Officer Hayes is placed on administrative leave pending final review. The pharmacy complaint is referred for licensing review. The council will draft a patient assistance protocol within 30 days. No applause came. Only chairs creaking, rain ticking, and Linda's tissue tearing once more. Evelyn reached for the microphone. "One more thing," she said. "Don't name this after me because I was arrested. Name it for what should have happened before that." Marcus lowered the microphone as she smoothed the old photograph with her thumb. "Name it the first call rule." By the next Monday, the glass door of Maple Street Pharmacy had a blank rectangle where a sale poster used to be. Evelyn Carter sat outside in her wheelchair while a technician cleaned the space with a blue cloth. The sharp smell filled the cool morning. Marcus stood behind her, hands folded over the push handles. "Too high," Evelyn said. The technician paused with the notice. "Ma'am? If someone in a chair has to look up like they're reading a church steeple, it isn't for them." Marcus almost smiled. "Lower by 4 inches." "3," Evelyn said. He nodded. 3. Inside, Linda Morrow watched from the photo counter. She no longer wore the manager badge. On the glass, the notice finally settled straight. Patient assistance and first call rule. Verify documents before escalation. Offer assistance. Allow 1 phone call in medical disputes. Document any refusal. Evelyn read each line. A delivery truck hissed at the curb. "It needs plain language," she said. Inspector Carla Vane lifted her pen. "This is the plain version. No, plain for people who are scared, tired, or hurting." Council chair. Marissa Cole looked at Marcus. "Agent Carter helped us keep it short." "My son writes like a locked cabinet," Evelyn said. Marcus lowered his eyes. "Guilty." Marissa took the copy back. "Tell us?" Evelyn pointed to the first line. "Before you call police, check the paper. Before you move someone, ask what they need. Before you decide they're a problem, let them call 1 person." Carla wrote quickly. "That will fit?" "The door has room." A small laugh moved through them, but it did not erase the tire mark still visible on Evelyn's clinic note inside Marcus's folder. Megan Pierce came to the entrance, copper braids tied back. "Mrs. Carter," she said, "we moved the phone to the lower counter." Evelyn turned. "Show me." The lower counter had always held candy and reading glasses. Now it held a black corded phone and a sign that read, "Ask here for help." The handset rested within reach of a seated customer. Megan tapped the counter. "Every shift has to test it." "And who decided that?" Megan's mouth flickered. "I did." Evelyn rested her hand on the edge. The surface was smooth and cold. "Good." At the police station that afternoon, Captain Foster stood in a training room with a paused body camera still on the screen. Evelyn's empty wheelchair beside the pharmacy counter. Hayes was not in the room. Nina Collins sat in the front row. When the instructor asked what should have happened first, no one answered. Nina raised her hand. "Assistance," she said. "Not control." At 4 p.m., Evelyn returned to the pharmacy door. The revised notice was lower, with larger print. Linda stood outside holding a folded envelope. "I don't expect you to read it here," Linda said. "Then why bring it here?" "Because this is where I should have listened." Evelyn took the envelope. "Listening is not a place, Mrs. Morrow. It's a habit." Linda nodded once. Her eyes stayed on the pavement. The sun broke through the clouds and placed Evelyn's reflection beside the new notice. Marcus stood a step behind. Evelyn looked at the words on the door. "Now," she said, "let's see if they remember it when no cameras are watching." 3 months later, the bell above Maple Street Pharmacy rang at 9:11 a.m., and Megan Pierce looked up before the door had fully closed. "Good morning, Mrs. Carter." Evelyn stopped just inside, one gloved hand on her wheel rim. The floor mat had been replaced with a thinner one that did not catch her chair. The lower counter was clear. The black corded phone sat within reach, its sticker fresh and square. "Good morning, Megan." A man in line turned, then moved his basket without being asked. Not dramatically, just enough. Elliot Green came from the back with a white prescription bag. "Already verified?" Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "Before I arrived?" "Before coffee," he said. "New habit." Megan placed a small clipboard on the lower counter. "No signature until you read it." "That one I like." Evelyn signed slowly. The pen did not shake as much when no one was watching for it to fail. Near the photo kiosk, Linda Morrow stacked return envelopes. She wore a plain employee badge now, no title beneath her name. When Evelyn passed, Linda stepped aside. "Mrs. Carter," she said. Evelyn nodded. "Mrs. Morrow." "I finished the training last week." "Did you listen?" Linda looked at the new notice on the glass door. "More than I spoke." "That's a start." There was no embrace, no easy forgiveness made for witnesses. Linda accepted the words as they were and returned to her envelopes. At the precinct, Officer Hayes's name had been removed from the patrol schedule. The final report listed suspension, decertification review, and referral for false statements in an official record. Captain Foster read the decision at a staff briefing with the pharmacy footage frozen behind him. Nina Collins stood in the front row. "What do you see?" Foster asked the room. No one answered quickly anymore. Nina looked at the screen. "A citizen asking for help." "And what else?" "A chair no one should have touched." The answer stayed in the room longer than the video. Jonah Miller came to City Hall the same week carrying a new phone and a folded note. He found Evelyn after the council posted the first public compliance report. "I should have kept recording from the beginning," he said. Evelyn was beside the bulletin board, reading the numbers. 12 medical disputes reviewed, 11 resolved without police, 1 referred to a patient advocate. "You started again," she said. "Too late." "But not never." He nodded once and taped his note beneath the report. It was only one sentence. "I saw it and waited. I won't do that again." That evening, Marcus came to Evelyn's apartment with takeout containers balanced on one arm and a small frame wrapped in brown paper. "You brought too much food," she said. "You always say that." "And I'm always right." Rain moved softly against the kitchen window. The kettle clicked twice. On the table, the old faded photo of Marcus still stood beside the sugar bowl, its corners worn pale from years in Evelyn's wallet. Marcus unwrapped the new frame and set it next to it. In the new picture, Evelyn sat outside the pharmacy door beside the first call rule notice. Marcus stood behind her, not holding the chair, just near enough. Evelyn touched the old photograph first. "You were so serious that day," she said. "I was trying to look official." "You looked hungry." He laughed under his breath and opened the containers. For a while, they ate without talking. The apartment smelled of ginger, tea, and rain. Marcus finally said, "I wanted to fix it faster." "You did what I taught you." "What was that?" "Read the whole page." He looked at the cracked phone lying near her pill organizer. He had offered to replace it twice. She had refused twice. "It still works," she said before he could speak. "The screen is split across my face." "Then stop calling at difficult angles." He smiled, but his hand rested on the table near hers. Evelyn looked toward the window, where the city lights blurred in the wet glass. "I don't want that day to be the biggest thing about me." "It won't be." "No," she said. but it can become useful. The next morning, the pharmacy bell rang again. An older man at the lower counter held a rejected insurance slip with both hands. Megan picked up the black phone and turned it toward him. "Would you like to call someone before we go any further?" she asked. Outside, the new notice caught the morning sun. If this story reminded you of a time when someone was judged too quickly, share your thoughts in the comments. Many people carry quiet stories about being dismissed, ignored, or treated like a problem before anyone took time to listen. Share this story with someone who believes dignity should never depend on age, appearance, money, or power. Sometimes one calm voice, one witness, or one phone call can change more than a single moment. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet strength, family loyalty, and the kind of system changes that begin when ordinary people refuse to look away. Thank you for watching until the end.